I just got finished watching Federer and Del Potro. So for everyone, and at this point, a lot of my audience, or, I won't sugarcoat it, probably 75% of my audience loves when I talk tennis. A lot of them are here for tennis. I appreciate that. I love that. I live and breathe tennis. But I just want to, the reason I'm saying this is the reason that this has not been a very active week is I've actually been in a play. Now, I don't do theater at all. This is the first play I've ever been in, but regardless, I'm in a play. The play opens on Thursday, so this has been like a very, very busy 2 weeks. With that being said, I'm trying to watch the Miami Open as much as possible, an ATP 1000. I watched Nadal Kohlschreiber yesterday. I watched Federer and Del Potro right before this show. And it's unfortunately a tournament that's been marred by injury. Djokovic dropped out. Murray dropped out. I want to talk about Nadal because there are 3 ways this could play out with Rafael Nadal. So, Nadal is titleless in 2017. He's played 4 tournaments, okay? He's had losses to Raonic, Sam Querrey, and Federer twice, okay? One of those Federer losses was a rout. His wins are against Monfils, Raonic, Dimitrov, Cilic. Signature wins, that is. Now, with Nadal, the thing is, you could look at it and say he's having a nice year. But you could look at it and say he's really not. Now, to win titles, you need those signature wins. Those wins against top 5 players in the world, top 3 preferably. And Nadal hasn't had that signature win. Cilic, Dimitrov, Raonic, Monfils, all kind of on the cusp there. He hasn't had that signature win. He's split with Raonic. He had a bad loss to Sam Querrey. He's lost to Federer in both meetings. So there are 3 ways actually this could go. Way number 1 is I'm overreacting. Rafa is absolutely fine. He made the Australian Open final. He's had a good year, and really there's nothing to be concerned about. But with the manner that he's lost, and even the manner that he's won, he lost the first set to Philip Kohlschreiber 6-love yesterday. The next 2 sets, he took care of business, but it was Kohlschreiber who really gifted Nadal that match when it was all said and done. It was Kohlschreiber who started playing extremely inconsistently after he was on fire for that first set and actually bageled Nadal. So you could be concerned for Rafa Nadal right now. Federer after the match at Indian Wells, in which he lost in which he was routed. Federer said Nadal looked slower in that match. Now, I got a comment on that video, on the video I made after that match, because I started to dissect the tactical advantage that Federer has when he plays inside the court against Nadal. And I really went deep into that. And I got a comment that said, Nadal was slower, you dummy. Now, I don't appreciate the insult. If you think that Nadal was slower and that was the bigger factor, you can say that without the add-on at the end. But with that being said, this guy has a point, I suppose. Now, I make these videos as soon as the match ends, so I don't get to listen to these press conferences. But there's no one who knows Nadal better than Roger Federer. And Federer said Nadal was slower. He said that flat out. Nadal was slower than he normally is. Which means, yeah, he is. And boy, did he look slower yesterday against Kohlschreiber. He did look slower. He did. So why am I saying there are 3 ways this can play out? 1, I'm overreacting. 2, he's injured. And we see this a lot We've seen it with Federer and his back and then his knee. And we saw it with Nadal with his knees, where a player has some bad losses. Like, for example, Nadal, I want to say it was 3 years back, lost to Kohlschreiber in his only loss to Kohlschreiber. The career series is 13-1. And then it was the year he lost in Wimbledon to Lucas Rosol. And then he didn't play a match for the rest of the year. He was injured. His knee was no good. So we could see something like that, where he's slower, he's fine. You know, maybe he takes a bad loss or two. Maybe he tries to play through the injury. But when it's all said and done, he's injured. Maybe. Rafa fans should actually hope he's injured, because we have not gotten an explanation for why Nadal looks slower. Or looked slower, especially against Federer. When Federer said Nadal was not athletically as imposing on this given day. Is Nadal injured, or is he just slower? If he's just slower, it's a big problem. Obviously. I mean, he's got to hit his forehand bigger, in my opinion. He just needs to hit his forehand bigger. But right now, Rafa looks slower, and I don't know really what to think about it. Is he injured? Is he slower for good? Or am I overreacting? I don't know. It really could be any one of those. But the way this tournament is playing out, if Federer meets Nadal again, just with the eye test watching them both play, Federer will kill him again, just like he did at Indian Wells last week. The same thing's going to happen. It's not that hard to see watching these two play tennis. Federer just beat Del Potro 6-3, 6-4. I've never seen Federer play so easy. Obviously, I think he's 100% and he's feeling great, but mentally he's playing so free. And the one thing that's really stuck out to me, one of the things that's really stuck out to me with Federer is that, and this is getting away from how good his backhand has looked and his serve and his forehand and his movement, just the fact that I feel like the match is never in his opponent's hands. It's always in Roger's hands. It's always Roger lost because he made an error, or Roger won because he hit a winner, or because he's dictating play. And that's what I'm seeing consistently with Federer. He is controlling his own destiny, even in big points, and especially in big points, in the break points. Federer made some errors in that match against Del Potro. He did. But God, he hit some winners in some big spots. He hit two break points in a row in that second set. He hit serves out wide to Del Potro's backhand, ran around Del Potro's return, and hit an inside-in forehand winner. An inside-in forehand winner. He did that twice. Del Potro, break point. Finally a break point. He could have got one in the first set, and I was prepping for the show at the time. But Del Potro gets that break point. Two of them. And he hits a combined 2 returns. Both returns are answered with a Roger Federer winner. It's like Federer is taking it out of his opponent's hands. That's how aggressively he's playing. And the magical shot making is just astounding right now by Roger Federer.